Oh, Lamar, this is always the fun of actually having you do your vids, because whenever I see a vid in my box from you, it's one of the first ones I actually have. I have a list of prioritized elements whenever I try to get it done, but time doesn't always permit. But in here, well, what teachers won't say, it depends on where you were raised, it depends on the area you live in, it really depends on many, many things. The reason why is because my mom and dad, my parents, my dad was a French teacher. My mom became a teacher later in life. She was a secretary, turned her life around because health had its way with her current position, and she decided, to hell with this, I'm going to actually go to complete my educational degree. She went farther than that. She, at the age of 35, 40, she completed a bachelor's in education. She completed a master's shortly thereafter to become a school principal. Unfortunately, because of her involvement with QP and the local unions, the particular people that were unfortunately all connected in the province refused her access to becoming a principal and always gave her some bullshit explanation. As for them holding back for the kids, I don't think my parents ever held back. Trust me, they never held back from me and my brother. But when it came to other parents, if their child was a troublemaker, they'd be up front and center with the parent. My dad, unfortunately, has a lot of reputation for the fact that he started teaching at the age of 18. As soon as he came out of seminary, he had two choices, priesthood or teacher. He went into teaching. That's where things led. He taught fathers of people that I have as friends, and sometimes even grandfathers, all depending on their age. Everybody knows him. After having a 30-plus teaching career, he's made his mark, indelible as it may be, and indelible as yours will be when you finish and retire, if you ever do. But there's one thing I've learned, is that you can't hold back from saying anything to a parent, because you actually get to see how the parent reacts towards the discussion. If they act in a very bad manner, then you know that chances are at the house things aren't all rosy, peachy, nice, and well. In my mother's case, she basically ran the gauntlet when she started teaching. She took a position in Drummond. Drummond is a small town. Unfortunately, its school is known to have a lot of social issues, for the fact that it's not the ghetto as you've put it, but a lot of the kids have criminal records for being aggressive, violent, drug abusers, drug pushers, and just not wanting to do anything because their parents, not every parent, not generalizing anyone here, because I believe in having examples, and some kids' parents deserve to be slapped or brought into the street and shot. It would have improved their kids' lives tremendously. But unfortunately, that would be murder, or it would be called vandalism or something else. I forget what the legal terms would be, depending on what you do to a person. I think it might be murder 1, or a bodily harm charge because of somebody punching someone else. Unfortunately for my mother and father, they've also suffered through the hands of kids. My mother actually ended up getting injured because of a kid wanting to slug another kid she got involved in. She got the kid's fist coming and contacting with her jaw. It caused her health issues that are still echoing through her body ever since. My father, unfortunately, one troublemaking child decided to launch an abuse case, a physical abuse case. Now, I don't know about what other people think about teachers today, but I miss the teacher that could slap a kid upside the face and not get charged. I do. My dad was never like that. My mother was never like that. In fact, a lot of the time they were never ever like that. But I have seen children that were laughing in the face of a professor evilly get their comeuppance. When you're sitting in old school benches made of wood, you know, the ones that you enter sideways, and you have a schoolmate in your classroom, and he's sitting in front of you, and you see the professor actually looking at him and going, "Why are you laughing?" And he just continues. I've never seen a man's fingers and hands go so fast across a child's face. A few things were not in good factors for this particular incident to not happen. The child repeated at least three grades, and it was his third year in the grade that I was in, which was grade 8 or 9. He was also known as being a robber, a cheat, a liar, and a drug addict, and also sometimes drug pusher, depending on the circumstances. And they still allowed him in school. So when they slapped him, well, he got slapped by the English professor. The bench, which was like this, with the child in it, went like this. Almost a good 90 degrees. Suffice it to say, he clammed up. He had a tear in his eye, and everybody mummed and said nothing. Trust me, example is possibly the biggest scare tactic in old-time teaching. Nowadays, when you do that to a child, the parent's going to sue, the child's going to sue, the teacher will be suspended without pay until further investigation is complete, or with pay, all depending on the school district. And unfortunately, I still don't believe that the teacher is liable for all of this. I really wish that we'd give him some bite to their own control in classrooms. Unfortunately, I agree with everything that you've mentioned, and unfortunately, Lamar, there's one thing I personally don't agree is holding back from the parents. If they're not told, some parents do not do anything. But you have to have the knack to be able to talk to them, and my mother had the best success. My father taught, he was teaching French. He never really had any issues. But my mother liked to be upfront and personal with people, and she's a certified reality therapist. She's a learning disability therapist. I mean, she's got a lot of credentials underneath her name. She's one of the few that's got a certification in reading disorders in children that are caused by dyslexia and by different types of light waves that actually affect the way a child reads, the way the words play with their mind, in the sense that they can't read because their brain is going too hyper, or there's too much reflection. Oh God, I could go on on the subject matter, but I won't. Suffice it to say that when she sat down with a parent, sometimes the parent might actually leave in tears, but tears of relief and joy more than tears of frustration. She actually put more effort than many teachers will ever put in a lifetime, trying to actually help a child in their home succeed at the school level and at the home level. And if she couldn't succeed, she tried to get people to help. But a lot has to be done by parents. If parents don't look into their children, make sure that they're doing their homework, that everything's fine, that they're not being bullied, which bullying is a big cause of suicide in children, even in today's society. If you're a parent, if I had a child, I'd be not butting in every single minute of my life, but I would definitely be involved. So anyways, enough of this discussion. Thank you, Lamar. You're always insightful. Have a nice one.